I want to apologize in advance. I wrote a joke, especially for this occasion. Is that it? Really? What do Brian and Katherine have in common with a fruit salad?
What does he have in common with a fruit salad?
Brian and Katherine.
Brian and Katherine?
They cantaloupe. Not every choice Brian has made has been smart in his life. When he was 9, I told him the sprinkles on his ice cream were soap, so he let me eat them. When he was a freshman, we convinced him that we had school on Memorial Day, so we drove him to school and dropped him off. But he's grown a lot since then. His decision making is really great now. After all those things I've done to him, he made me his best man. More importantly though, he knew Katherine was the person we're going to spend the rest of his life with. The strongest relationships are those built on acceptance. Last week, Brian stayed up into the wee hours playing a brand new video game that just came out that day and finishing it in one day. I'm sure Katherine thinks that was the stupidest thing ever.
Just wait.
But she has her own peculiarities. For instance, Johnny Salt.
He knows Johnny Salt.
But I recognize the smirk on Katherine's face when Brian does something ridiculous and nerdy. Because it's the same smile on Brian's face when she shows her own quirks. No two people are exactly alike, and you can either allow those differences to annoy you, or you can love each other because of them, because you're different. From what I've seen, Brian and Katherine are going to live a long, happy life together, making each other smile. So Brian and Katherine, may you always love each other because of and in spite of each other's quirks and failings.
Hi, my name is Kristen, and I'm the Matron of Honor. I was really honored when Brian and Katherine asked me to stand up here with them because they're like family and they're two of my best friends. I really want to thank everyone who is here today. You all mean so much to them. It wouldn't have been the same without you. And thank you everyone for all your help. So now for the speech. All right. I have known that Brian and Katherine were perfect for one another. I knew them both before they knew each other, and looking back on it now, it seems as though they were destined to be together. Let me explain. We've spoken many times, but Katherine and I cannot seem to pin down exactly where we met, most likely because we feel like we've always been in each other's lives. Katherine is incredibly easy to get along with and is always trying to make other people happy, which is why I'm friends with her. But she has a personality like sunshine, where she makes you feel good immediately for no particular reason. She loves games, 80s music, and giggling. And if you know her, you are probably smiling like I am right now because it's simply impossible not to when thinking of Katherine. A great example is when my housemates and I decided to throw an ugly sweater party. Katherine's love of 80s and unique fashion sense led her to the perfect sweater. By this, of course, I mean the sweater Brian was wearing to that particular party where they first met. Now, Brian I had known for over a year at that point, and I've always felt like he was one of my closest friends. In fact, he was much like another brother, which is probably why I wanted to punch him and hug him all at the same time. But just like Katherine, he also makes you smile when you think of him. In fact, when I think about his stirring rendition of rock band Sabotage by the Beastie Boys, I cannot help but smile aloud. With you, Brian, never at you. But back to the sweater. Not only was Brian wearing a stellar sweater, But he was also donning a fashionable cast because he had recently broken his collarbone.
Sling.
Sling, cast, it's all fine. So you probably all know that from visiting their website. I know I do every day. But this fascinated Katherine. And when Brian produced the x-ray at the party, this solidified his chance for a first date. Now, I mentioned earlier that they were perfect for each other, and what happened next is proof positive. After the first date went well, Katherine went in for a goodbye hug, but got a little timid. Not because she didn't like Brian or the date didn't go well, but because she was afraid she was gonna hurt him. Well, Brian misread the signs and thought he had been shot down. Thinking he'd blown the date, he didn't call Katherine back and moped about instead. Meanwhile, Katherine, who thought the date went great and was so excited, couldn't understand why Brian hadn't called her back. See why they're perfect for each other? Well, luckily, Katherine took matters into her own hands and asked me to fix it. And the rest is history. Well, their getting to know you is history, but their lives together are just beginning. Please join me in starting them off right with a toast. I wish only the best for you. May you have many moments, big and small. Always keep your sense of humor. Never let anything or anyone come between you two. Remember that you are in this together, and may you always feel the love of families and friends as strongly as you do today. I love you both very much. To Katherine and Brian.
Katherine and Brian.